Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Welcome back to the TMZ Podcast. I'm Charlie Nath.
I'm Derek Kaufman.
Courtney here.
And Fabian here.
All right, let's get right into it. But we do want to acknowledge Derek. Thank you so much for joining
I know,
us.
it's your first
Thanks for
time.
about to lawyer this up a little
I
bit.
know, we had to have a responsible person on the panel, I
an
guess.
actual smart person on here from time to time, and thank God that
We're going
you're
to elevate
here.
the discourse here today,
Just a
guys.
little
So
bit,
let's
yes.
bring your A games. Let's go.
So we can start with the Grammy nominations, specifically not for any music, but for comedy. So Dave Chappelle and Louis CK have been nominated for respective Grammys. I think Chappelle was nominated for a spoken word album, but I think it's also a comedy album. I don't know. Spoken word for Chappelle, and then comedy album for Louis. A lot of people are up in arms about it. Other people are also like, is cancel culture real? Because these guys have been in the news lately for a lot of controversy. And supposedly they were canceled, but people are wondering, are they actually canceled? What is cancellation?
But how do you
Right.
get nominated? It's based on numbers, correct?
Yeah, I think it's partly numbers and partly based on your peers,
Yeah.
right? And the Grammys, like all award shows, are dying. And when you need controversy to drum up enthuusum for the show, to get people and get eyeballs, and nominating someone like Chappelle and CK is going to do
but
that.
But also, Dave Chappelle's comedy was huge. It was like rated in the top 10 for so many
for
weeks
sure.
on Netflix.
And I think because the implication you're making is that they did this for PR and for press, which I don't think is the case. Like,
And not necessarily
it's
talent.
voted. It's voted by a body of by people who pick this, right? Like they vote
And
on it.
also, this is a big pivot from like the AMAs, which removed Morgan Wallen from being nominated for any awards.
Right, which is like another big music award show.
Do we
Yeah,
know
no, that's
that-
a really good point. I mean, though, Morgan Wallen, though, his controversy
That
is
was a
very
little bit
different than the types
Sure.
of controversy you're dealing with Chappelle, which are maybe closer
What
calls.
about Louis C.K.?
Right,
Ugh.
he's on a different level. What's interesting is that like,
Harassment and race is still different to me.
Yeah,
I
'cause,
don't
like,
know.
So Dave
But
Chappelle.
also, was the Louis C.K. stand-up funny? I didn't see that
so
one. I only saw Dave Chappelle.
I actually have a confession to make. So I actually went and saw Louis
In person?
In person.
Wow, I
a
was
month
wondering
ago.
if
there's
Wow.
shows.
I kind of cringe at
Fabian.
I
it.
almost feel like I want to cancel you just
I
for going to the
know.
show.
I
I
It's
can't
weird.
believe you
No.
actually went.
I went to the Long Beach show. I'm a fan of his, and look, I've thought long and hard about his controversy, which we can recap quickly. He was accused and admitted, I think, to a lot of it, that he ended up masturbating in front of women and on the phone with women, which is absolutely disgusting. And he's a deviant, obviously, but he didn't. Look, everyone has their own line as far as the line where they said, like,
Separating
Well, now we know about your line.
I know.
I think you're no, but I'm interested in this. So CK's controversy is about things he did outside of comedy.
Right.
Chappelle's
Yeah.
controversy
Is
is
the
inside
comedy.
of
His
his
actual
comedy.
comedy
Right.
show that got nominated.
although what he got nominated
Do you
for.
think that's why it's
the
for
spo-
best spoken word?
The spoken word album
and
is
not comedy?
It's not the closer. The spoken word album that
Oh,
Chappelle
it's
was
not the
It's not the
closer?
closer. It's a separate one. So who knows
What
how
one?
much? I don't know the name of it. I don't have. The
I love
detail.
all of his specials, though.
Right, but like he's in the news lately for the closer and the whole transgender controversy. Look, I don't know if it was for PR or for press. I have to think that they just looked at the merit of this work and voted on it, and they thought it warranted some nominations apparently.
But if Chappelle won, for example, which probably he will be, right? Like he will be the winner
We'll
in that
see. I don't
category. But if
know.
he won, there's going to be a lot of outrage.
But it's not
about
for the
that.
closer.
it's not for the closer.
But
So then it's
still, him
completely
in general,
different. But
he
why,
has,
though?
He has a history of,
But maybe
using
not on this one. Was
transgenders
this
as like
the
butt of a
George-
joke.
I agree with Nat. This is going to be radioactive. If he wins and gets to go on stage in the middle of this swirling controversy about the closer, even if it's about a separate album,
Right.
there are going to be
Does he make a
backlash
joke?
against it.
Does he make a joke?
Definitely.
Sure
I
he
think
does.
he does.
He can't help himself.
He
Everywhere he's
he
been,
can't
he makes a
help
joke
it. He
about
can't
it.
help
Yeah.
it. And that's why
Right.
it's Dave Chappelle.
I just don't like the idea of Twitter dictating, who can get in, who can't get in. It's just ridiculous. And like Dave Chappelle said himself in the closer special, Twitter's not a real place. And it's funny because there are prominent people, all these blue checkmark profiles on Twitter, saying, obviously these guys are not canceled. Louis CK is not canceled. Dave Chappelle's not canceled. And I have a theory about cancellation in general because it's such a nebulous term. Like, what does it mean? It means different things to different people. But for the wealthy and celebrities especially, you can't really, quote, cancel them because they're wealthy. Once you reach a certain level of wealth, you're rich, you're fine. You can say anything. Like, people,
Yeah, and
also-
it's not even wealth with them, though. Chappelle and CK are two of the greatest
Yes.
of all time.
Sure.
No one would,
Yeah.
they're on the Mount Rushmore of comedians, so canceling
But
two
money helps.
giants
Money
like
helps
that
for
is a big deal.
sure.
Money certainly helps. It didn't help Cosby, though. I mean, Cosby's
No.
also on the
Right.
Mount
No.
Rushmore, and I don't think he's winning any Grammys.
No, it didn't help
True.
Charlie Sheen either.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Right.
a lot of times when money hasn't
By
helped
the way, for the Grammys, first time nominees, Olivia Rodrigo, which go
Ugh.
figure, but Selena
Olivia.
Gomez.
She's never been nominated
never been
before?
nominated. nominated.
Good for her, because she's a veteran and she's put out good music before, and I'm glad to see that she's here. Olivia, though, too soon. Too soon. She doesn't
Really?
deserve.
People are saying
Oh
she was like
my
the new
God,
Britney
Fabian,
Spears.
what
I
are
don't
you
like it.
talking
You're not ready to
about?
crown
You gotta
sour?
She
pay-
has
you gotta
had
pay your-
#1 songs
That's
all the time.
fine.
And it's probably
But
for
how
like
many-
best new artist or something.
Exactly. How many #1s has Selena had over the past several years and hasn't?
Oh,
been?
not enough, apparently.
Exactly. So Olivia, whatever. I don't want to get too into it because we're hopscotching here, but like Olivia needs to pay her dues and whatever. We'll
She
see how
has paid her dues.
Oh,
You don't
okay.
like best new
Also,
artist, huh?
He is
I don't. I don't
ridiculous.
like newcomers.
Also, most Grammy nominations in history is 83 for Jay-Z.
Wow.
That's
This blows
insane.
my mind. So he now has passed Quincy Jones, who is the goat of goats,
Yeah,
right?
he
I mean,
is.
Quincy
Not
Jones
anymore.
he's produced
Music-wise,
everything.
he
He
is.
produced Thriller.
By the way, did you know Quincy? I learned this fact over the weekend. Quincy Jones produced the Austin Powers theme. Did you guys know that?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Like na na na. That's
That's
Quincy
awesome.
Jones. That's
his fingerprints are
crazy.
on
I have a
everything.
question.
are.
How did you learn that this weekend?
It was on
Just-
Twitter. It's just like some random.
Oh, you were just talking about how much you
I
hate
know.
Twitter, and now you're
I
going
love
there
and
for all
hate
your
Twitter.
facts?
It's my life,
Fabian,
and it's also
that's the only one that you do is Twitter. You're not on Facebook.
I'm not on
you're
anything,
not on Instagram.
and for good reason. Anyway.
Oh my
Have
God,
you ever
but
heard
he's
of
on
Fabian
Twitter?
Hot Take on Twitter, though? It's one of my
No, I
favorites.
have
He
enough
made a
of
hot
his
take
hot
about
takes
Queen one
here.
It's
time.
into the void always. But anyway, we can move on. I
Yeah,
think.
so moving on to Kanye West. So you guys remember he bought that house in Malibu for about $50 million.
Yes.
And at the time, we had reported it was actually designed by a famous Japanese architect. Well, it's not good enough for him because now he is turning to James Goldstein, who basically for inspiration. So James Goldstein, big businessman. He's always courtside at Lakers games.
And he lives in one of the most
he lives
uniquely designed homes
totally
in LA.
iconic. Yeah, it's called
I
the
had to do
Sheets
a crash
Goldstein
course
residence.
on this story when you assigned it to me yesterday. Like I
Yeah.
had to like look it up. Like who the hell is James Goldstein? What's this?
But then you saw him and you knew who he was.
I looked it up. I looked at the house. I was like, oh, okay, so it's like some famous, designed house that like James helped design it, but it was designed by an architect who I don't remember the name. But
Oh my God,
he's
John Lautner is like
yes,
one of the
this
most
guy,
famed
right,
architects.
whoever that may be.
Yeah, so John Lautner designed the house, and James Goldstein had worked with him on, designing everything.
Right.
And this house has been in so many movies.
the
The
Sheets Goldstein
Lebowski.
residence,
Yeah.
apparently, right.
I'll tell you
Charlie's-
what, I'm a little surprised by this story, and this is
What?
why. Kanye considers himself a visionary, creative force.
He does.
Genius.
And to say that he needs to go to another genius to
It's
help
weird.
him, sort of spruce up his own
But
home,
he's
you would
also,
think he could design.
but he's
He
also
did this.
creative, and he's getting inspiration and certain things.
It's almost humbling
inspire
a
him.
little bit, right?
Because he
Like
did
that-
this for the
right, which is not a word you associate with Kanye West
True.
ever.
That's a good
Yeah.
point, right?
But he does this with all of his houses. He did this with the one that with Kim Bill. He had different architects
Right.
come in to like help him
Exactly.
design
The
it.
difference now is that he's solo. He's solo. No Kim to nag him down or to drop.
Why
drag him
are
down
you
or
saying
anything.
that she was
I'm just-
nagging him?
I'm just
He
saying.
built a beautiful
he's
house and she
single.
loved
Now
it.
all the creative juices can flow freely, and so
Nagged
basically,
him.
I think we might have skipped over the headline. The headline is that he is enlisting James Goldstein's help to design this Malibu house. Right? That's what's
Yeah, so
happening.
I talked to James Goldstein, and basically he told me that Kanye had reached out a couple weeks ago to like open a dialogue. He wanted to meet with James and like see his house and just like get inspiration for his Malibu home. So Kanye
Which
actually went
needs
over
the
there.
help, by the way, because that house
That
is,
thing's just a box.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a bunker.
It's pretty plain.
We even wrote in our story, it looks like a bunker, which it does. It doesn't look very. It doesn't
It's an
look like
expensive
anything.
bunker.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
I wish I could have a $57 million
Yeah, right.
bunker.
Great view.
So on Friday, he went to the Sheets Goldstein residence and was like taking photos of like the pool and taking photos of like everything and really admiring everything. And it's kind of funny because the photo that James posted on his Instagram of Kanye, he's wearing rain boots standing in the pool.
In the water,
It's like a very
which-
strange.
I
He
did-
loves
image.
those boots.
He does.
That's
He
all
really
he's
does. They're
in
all
Good to know
recently.
that they actually have some utility outside of their appearance, whatever. They actually work as water.
Well, we don't know what they looked like after he got
Yeah.
You
out
think
of
they
the
have utility
water.
because he was splashing around on a
I
Baja
know.
shelf at
Balenciaga
some
boots.
mansion?
I don't know.
Like, do
how
your
they-
shoes just fall apart when you walk in a puddle?
I mean, they're designer boots. I didn't know how well they actually worked when put against the test.
Dude, I can get you some galoshes from Marshalls. You don't need
The
like.
test, it
Right,
was
right,
a
right.
little puddle, like
Anyway,
of water.
They're
Anyway.
functional.
Nice
But yeah,
test, like he was-
so I guess Kanye had showed James some like blueprints of like ideas he had for his own Malibu house, and it was some kind of like rectangular like
Right.
blueprint. James
Mhm.
wasn't like too sure what it meant, so now Kanye has invited James to go to his house and kind of like go over everything.
These guys are going to butt heads. This is my prediction. Is
think
that
so?
Yeah.
because James Goldstein is a giant of his own craft as well,
Right.
and
Yeah.
Kanye certainly doesn't yield to anyone. So
No.
the idea that these two are going to be able to combine their creative forces
Right.
in harmony is a stretch
And
to
to
me.
that point, I think you're right, because in your notes for the story, you said something along the lines of, James looked at Kanye's drawn out plans,
Right.
could not make sense of them. He didn't know what the
Yep.
hell he was being presented
no
with. So
idea
he's
what
like,
it was.
you know what? Let me go to your house with you.
Yep.
show me what you want. But it seems like
God, that was probably the longest tour.
Right.
Could you imagine
Yes.
Kanye going through his vision for his home?
Right.
No
I think,
way.
but what if Kanye like really replicates James's house? Like you would kind of be offended a little bit, right? That's not
Well,
like flattery. Like
no,
you don't
I
want,
wouldn't want like another person to have like my same exact house.
Yeah,
Get your
that
own
house is
style.
so special that if he copycats like sort of the triangular
It'll be
shape to
seen
it,
as
it'll be a little
cheap
bit
and
a
I
knockoff.
agree.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's clear that like Kanye wants to do a major redesign, so I imagine there's going to be tons of construction, and what that means for the neighbors, lots of noise, lots of commotion. So get
Very
ready for Kanye,
Yeah, right.
construction about to go
Well,
down.
while Kanye was doing this, Kim Kardashian, his estranged wife, was in Santa Monica with Pete Davidson with a little friend on his neck. Everyone thinks it looks like a hickey, which
that
I think
Fabian
it does.
called, by the way, a purple red friend.
What?
Is that how you presented
Oh,
it?
that was
Oh,
Brad.
That was
Brad
Brad.
called it a
But
reddish
I
purple
love this
friend.
because
Yeah.
Kim cannot let Courtney have anything. Courtney and Travis
So-
were the ones that were like so PA, like all over each other. And now
You're onto
Kim's like,
something there.
excuse me, I got a hickey on him.
Yeah.
And she's 41. Like, what are you doing?
I'm on the other side. I love this relationship.
Oh,
I want
And
to sit
he's
back and
so
listen to
fun.
what is it?
She's so happy
Well,
for the
what do you
first
mean,
time in
Pete?
her life.
What is it about Pete?
Hold on.
Because
So
he's
he's
funny, but there's a lot of funny guys.
I know, but look
you're
at
right.
his dating history. There has to be something. He has
We don't-
amazing women, and it's probably
we don't
how he is in bed.
We don't have exactly. We don't have to get too vulgar.
It didn't
but-
take much to lure that out of you. I was like, is she going to say it?
Just
Yeah,
like
she's
there
gonna
was
say it.
something about Mary, there's something about Pete, and I think and Ariana spoke on it. We know there's something about Pete. We know what it's down there. But
Something
anyway,
about Mary reference. Okay.
Frankenbeans, exactly.
But it has to be a little bit more than just being like well endowed, though.
It's
Okay.
well endowed in the charm.
You've been with
That
some
he
well
knows how
endowed
to-
guys, I'm
Yes,
sure.
and they're not as funny as Pete, probably.
Oh,
And
this
I'm
is-
not with them anymore.
This is all right. Anyway, I
But
want to say
man, those were good times.
Oh, Lord. All right. So about the hickey, though. First of all, this is amateurish because the
Well,
hickey,
it's not amateurish.
It is amateurish. It's
You
She's
don't like the-
41 years
okay,
old,
it is.
Courtney.
It's-
She's still
Fabian's-
sucking on neck.
Fabian's issue with it is where it's located because the
That
hickey
I-
is located like almost like underneath the ear, like high up
Well,
on
no,
the neck.
it's at the
and
base.
Oh my
It's at the
God.
base of his
Fabian
skull.
thinks they need to be on the lower neck and on the
No,
chest.
it's
the
in the
hickey-
perfect
if you look
spot.
at the hickey, it's at the base of his skull here. So it's just weird placing. So
You don't know what he likes,
bad on
and they
her
feel
for-
good to
like,
him up there.
I would
That's
only
weird.
say the only issue with this is one, they're coming out of Giorgio Baldi,
Yes.
which every paparazzi is there, so they know they're going to get photographed. Number two, if they wanted to conceal it, they could. Kim has like a makeup
Of
line; they could
course,
patch
and-
it up.
and-
1,000%.
Turtleneck,
And look, I mean, there's-
scarf.
But
Hickeys
he doesn't want to
don't-
conceal
no.
that.
Yeah,
Like, come on, I
it's
got a
like
hickey from
full
Kim
out.
Kardashian. Look at this, Kanye West.
Well,
like,
sure,
what do
I
you
would
do?
show it off too, obviously, but like it's childish. Like both of these people are too old for hickeys. Even Pete is too old for a
I
hickey.
agree
It is a little high
completely.
school.
There's a cutoff. There's an age cutoff for hickeys. It's 25 and less. Not even 25. 25 is the cutoff. Like if you're 24, fine. Anything younger, fine. But if you're beyond 25,
They're also
Your
just
cutoff
funny.
is hilarious to me.
Oh my
You're
God,
allowed
I
to go
know.
all through law school with hickeys, according
Yeah.
to you.
Sure,
25, I
But
was
once you can rent a car, no more hickeys.
more
That's
hickeys.
it.
Yeah.
That's the cutoff.
Like,
Okay.
no way. It's so funny.
But-
and have you ever given a hickey to someone when they don't want it and you almost just do it just to annoy them?
yes.
Yes,
Yes,
it's like
I've done
so
that.
much fun.
You're
Sure,
kind of
'cause
marking your
you do
territory.
mark- That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. You mark your territory.
And you see if they cover it up, like, how dare you go to a bar
I
and
don't
cover
think she
a
needs to
hickey.
mark Pete Davidson. He will follow her around like a puppy for as
sure.
long as she.
But
I don't know.
Right, you don't know that. Have you seen all the people that he's dated? He probably has thousands of girls throwing at him.
for
like,
sure.
throwing
In fact,
themselves
I
at him
wouldn't
now.
be surprised if he's talking to other women right now. Probably. Who knows? But
And to think he only
Wow.
started with Cassie David,
Oh
and
my
look at him
God.
now.
I know, look at him. But to your theory, though, just to wrap this up, I think there's something to be said about the fact that Courtney was the it girl for the past several months, along with Megan Fox.
With Travis
They both
Barker.
got their bad boy rocker guys. And
She
they're
was
all,
making
they're
like
all
on
hot.
boats in Italy
Yeah,
with
they're all,
them
they're
so
all
much.
PDA heavy, hot and heavy. And I think Kim felt a little left out, frankly. And I'm not saying she doesn't like Pete. I'm sure she's enjoying him and probably likes him, but I think there's something else in the back of her mind. Like, yeah, let me get in on this like bad boy, tatted, skinny guy thing that's going on right now.
I don't know
you
why
are
you think he's a
hating.
bad
You
boy.
are hating.
I'm just saying.
such a
it's-
hater.
Oh Lord, I don't get it.
Don't
but-
go to
All
the
right, well,
909.
let's move you
Fabian.
off this topic, Fabian.
Sure, and we can segue into Matthew McConaughey, a little more serious, but not really.
Is it
so where did he
serious?
get hickeys? Yeah.
Yeah. So Matthew
Good
McConaughey,
question.
even though he is not running for governor, at least not yet, not officially, he is constantly showing up in these polls, in these local Texas polls, and there's a new one out by the Dallas Morning News, and they're showing that not only is he beating the incumbent Governor Abbott by I think maybe about 10% or so, but he would apparently wipe out Beto O'Rourke, the Democrat who's actually running, by over 10%. I think it's almost like 20% or something like that. I don't know. The numbers are 49% for Matt and 27% for O'Rourke, and then 43% for Matt 35% for work. So he's
That's
beating both of
crazy
them.
Considering he's never even said he's running. He's just expressed like interest a little bit.
Yeah, and we've written about it. He's given these long, rambling, vague interviews to different outlets, and he's a
But that's probably what politicians should do.
Yes, the vagueness is a strategy, guys, because Greg Abbott, everyone knows what Greg Abbott stands for. He's a hard right guy.
Right.
Everyone knows what Beto O'Rourke stands for. He's a hard left guy.
Taking your guns.
If you keep
Right.
it vague, you leave the mystery to it and you start capturing that middle. And as soon as he announces a policy, you'll see this start to tighten up a lot because then you can hate him.
I agree.
You can't hate him.
And I also think he's also been leaving clues, sort of like, indirectly. Like, so basically
little Easter eggs like Taylor Swift?
Not like Taylor Swift,
but they're
but
like policy Easter eggs.
he
about
has been
abortion and
leaving
things
Easter
like
eggs
that, yeah.
because on the one hand, he recently came out and said, I am against vaccine mandates for kids. He said, I'm not, you can't make me vaccinate my kids. But earlier, like a month or two ago, he was saying, mask mandates are good. It's for the greater good. Come on, so he's kind of like,
he's fence sitting.
He is. He is.
He's
Absolutely.
fence sitting. Yeah, he's trying to have the best of both worlds.
So maybe he's doing that on purpose, but I don't think he's smart enough to really be doing that on purpose.
But people love Matthew McConaughey. When you think of Texas,
He's
that's
super
who you
chill.
think
Yeah,
of.
he's a chill guy.
And
But
you know he's going to be
on the-
running right, right?
and look at
because
the-
all right.
Oh my God. Oh my, you were waiting to get that in.
was,
I appreciated it. I liked it.
Thanks, guys.
But this is look at the history of electing people, right?
Right.
You elect pretty faces. Ronald Reagan, you guys don't remember, was a movie star.
He
He was a movie
was.
star.
I've
He was
seen
a
pictures.
handsome
I didn't know
guy.
that.
Yeah,
That's
he
so
was
crazy.
And
he
even
had-
though JFK is not actually handsome, he's perceived as
That is
handsome
your
in
opinion.
in the public.
I don't know
This
why
is the
you
hottest
think
of
that.
Fabian
It
takes
really
ever that
is.
saying
JFK wasn't
JFK is
handsome.
handsome is like saying there's like this
Fabian,
myth
if you
about
did a
Ted
poll,
Bundy.
he would probably be the hottest president.
Name
Maybe.
name a hotter one. Lincoln.
George W. Bush.
Fabian, I named my
Yeah.
daughter Nixon, and I still think JFK is
Your
pretty
daughter's
hot.
name is Nixon?
And he
Yes.
named
So
one
I'm no
Carter.
fan of the
His son.
Kennedys, but
Oh, Lord.
JFK is a good-looking guy.
That's like saying Ted Bundy is handsome. Another myth that gets perpetuated, which is
he
not.
was
I
pretty
don't understand
handsome
why
from
you-
serial
where you're
killers.
getting this.
Anyway,
Your head.
we're getting off track here, but yeah, McConaughey is handsome, so I just don't like this idea of electing celebrities just because they're celebrities and they're popular. It's just
Well, the
stupid.
It
the
happens.
weed laws would definitely get passed in Texas, which
Yeah.
has not happened.
This is
and
true.
people would be very excited about that.
I
sure.
think he's got
Or
Courtney's
upset.
vote. I think
He
he's got
has my
Court's
vote. I'll move to
Her
Austin.
mail-in ballot. That's a good opportunity to move on.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think so. We can pivot.
So we'll see. Look, we'll know what Matthew McConaughey stands for, but one thing we do know that is coming up is we know the next person going to space.
I love
my
it.
God.
And the
my
next
God.
person is former football player and current GMA host Michael Strahan. He will be
I
Wild.
don't
boarding-
understand.
On December 9th, I will be blasting off in the next Blue Origin space launch. There you go. Going to space. Blue Origin, they approached me and they asked if I wanted to be a crew member. And without hesitation, I said yes.
What made you want to do it?
I wanted to go to space. I think being there at the first launch, it really was mind blowing.
Like,
How
how do you
tall
get
is he?
picked?
He's 6'5". And he went
Oh.
already to the base when there was another launch when he was just covering it for GMA. And he
Right.
sat in the chair and he's like, oh, this is kind of comfy. And apparently Jeff Bezos offered him a ride on the next voyage.
Are you-
Wow.
Oh my
And he's
God.
going to be sitting next to basically space royalty because Laura Shepard, who is the daughter of Alan Shepard, who famously was the first person in space as an American.
Hmm.
Oh,
He'll
wasn't
be-
John Glenn? Or no,
Jo-
Neil
there-
Armstrong? Or what?
two different
Okay.
voyages, but yes, John Glenn was in orbit and he was in space. But anyway, he'll be sitting next to her. He'll be sitting next to a father, son, very privileged, rich people. It seems like
Yeah.
other
Right.
investors in Blue Origin, but Strahan going up to space.
So,
Is
hold
he
on.
doing it for like a report on GMA, or is he just going up because
GMA
Jeff
definitely
Bezos
has the
offered
exclusive.
it?
There's no question
GMA will
about that.
cover it. He's going up. He's actually giving his stipend from the Boys and Girls Club that you're apparently a stipend is owed to you when you go up into space.
That
He's
is
going to give
so
his to the Boys and
funny.
Girls Club, so it's for charity, but it's pretty awesome.
So just
What's
to
the stipend? We have no idea, right?
Don't know the
Ugh.
amount, but just to clarify,
Yep.
so with all these Jeff Bezos quote voyages, whatever you want to call them, let's just be real. What they are is you go up, barely up, you go barely past the stratosphere, whatever.
But enough to see the curvature.
Yes, but you go up
Curvature.
and you come right back down. It's like 10 minutes max, maybe. You're up there for like 2 seconds, you
Fabian,
float for a second, you
You're
come
acting
right.
like you wouldn't go
I know.
up.
Well, hold on, let's just
You
let's
would
just- let's just put this
1,000%
in
go up.
perspective.
If he
This is
offered
so-
you it in a stipend, you would take it, and you wouldn't even donate the stipend.
It's just silly because like what, Jeff Bezos is running out of tricks and gimmicks. He really is. Like he's pulling hats out of a name at this point. Like, oh, who can I send up next? Who can
or
I?
names out of a hat, either
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what did I say?
He said hats out of a name, which is a difficult trick to
Oh
pull
my
off.
god.
But, yeah.
Okay, sorry, but like it's just it's not newsworthy. This is not newsworthy anymore.
It is.
It's not
I
newsworthy.
think it's
It
indulgent
is.
rich guy behavior. I actually agree with
is.
you. What what Musk is doing is a little bit different. He sent his guys up there for 3 days in space. He's actually doing space exploration. These little vanity trips with William Shatner, they're giving.
But hold on,
that's
what Jeff Bezos wants. That's what he wanted to do, was to people to take these like little trips up into sea and to like gradually. Oh my goodness! Someone finished a sentence for me.
We started talking about NASA, and you got a lot over your skis.
It's just tourism at this point. You're not finding anything up there. You're not exploring.
That's the words I was looking for.
Even though both of these guys are, Bezos is in a pissing contest with Elon Musk. Richard Branson's not even in the race at this point, in my opinion.
How sad for Richard Branson.
I know, he kind of dropped off.
Because
the billionaire we forgot.
He has the coolest plane, if you ask me.
He does.
That thing
it looks like it's out of the
sick.
Jetsons for sure.
He's the only one that doesn't look like a penis rocket.
Yes.
He looks like a legit airplane.
It looks so cool. I'd be like, that's the one I want to go on.
Do you guys think they do that on purpose? Like, oh, my
Jeff
penis.
Bezos
did that on purpose. He was trying to. That's an Austin Powers scene, actually. That's Dr. Evil's rocket. Anyway, whatever. I'm not gonna.
You really love the Austin Powers movies. That's the second Austin Powers reference, and we have not a single Mike Myers story.
Welcome to 2021,
But getting back to Elon real quick, he's contracted with NASA. NASA is contracted with SpaceX. They have a contract together. They're constantly sending missions, and Elon's actually going to space. Not deep, but like he's going farther than Bezos. Bezos is going up and down, like barely up, and he's coming right back down.
I mean, but it's the same thing with skydiving, though. There's like different levels of skydiving where you can fall from, like different altitudes.
Well, Elon is on another level, and Jeff Bezos is like.
But they're doing two different things.
I guess.
Yeah, one is trying to show like
it.
space is accessible and how space tourism would be these little trips where you get zero gravity.
But then you got Jeff Bezos talking about, we're going to build floating cities. How about you get past the what do they call it? The line, the mark.
Why don't you just deliver my toilet paper on time? I don't know. Like I feel like Amazon is getting away from their core business. No, I don't want to leave. I want a drone to bring me my toilet paper.
The holidays are kind of here, and Christmas is around the corner, and all the packages slow down.
It's true.
They need to figure that out.
Anyway, I'm sure we'll be live streaming this like we do for all of Bezos' little things.
Why? You're so angry about this. I don't understand.
Fabian, what one of these topics did you actually like? Because each one you criticized.
Kim and P got me riled up. But
Kim and P got you. Yeah.
Right, we're asking which one you like.
Yeah.
We know which ones you didn't like, which was all of them.
Yeah.
Do you have a topic that wouldn't upset you that we can talk about?
No. I don't think so.
By the way, you guys, Thanksgiving's around the corner. What are you going to be doing for Thanksgiving, Fabian?
Well, I mean, if I can get out of here tomorrow on time, I'm going to be driving up to Sacramento, which is not too far away. And
Fabian has been stressing about getting out of here on time since last week.
I've been hearing about it every day.
Because you've been slacking me about like this post schedule, like what we're doing for the TV show.
I have been slacking.
Like, hey, what's this?
It's so funny you picked up on that because I've been.
You picked up on it. You said, "Hey, I want to get out of here early." Last Friday.
So anyway, it's going to be a long day tomorrow.
Until you mean that your job's
done? You asked him, what are you doing for the holidays? And he complained about leaving.
I know.
You can even give this guy a day off and he'll find the negative in it.
Always.
Courtney,
my parents are in town, so I've been hanging out with them all the time. Yeah, we're going to a hockey game tomorrow night.
Because you're from Ohio, right?
Canada. But yeah, both.
Okay.
Dual citizenship.
Oh, good for you.
Derek, how about yourself?
We are hosting Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Is this your first time hosting?
We got 22 people coming over. We got some like extended family.
How big is your turkey?
So you're actually
not big enough at all. There will be several hungry individuals.
You'll be in charge
afterwards.
of feeding people this time,
I have
as
to feed
opposed
all
to
these people. And I told them
this is your
it's going to be all bunt cakes out there.
It's going to be old bunt cakes.
Yeah, Derek's known for taking all the free food at work.
Right,
so
right.
this is
if
his
anyone
karma.
wants trail mix,
do you cook or does your wife cook?
We'll be cooking the turkey, but we told people if you're coming over, you got to bring something. It's gonna be a little bit of a potluck.
Oh, you're that type. And Miss Neff, what are you doing?
Just hanging out with family in Glendora.
What are you cooking?
Town Glen. I'm cooking nothing. I'm picking up Marie
You're bringing the wine.
tomorrow.
You're just picking up wine and bringing it?
Yeah, pretty much. And pies.
Oh, and pies.
All right, there we
Sorry,
go.
when I hear pie, I just think wine for some reason.
I know. Where are you?
You skip the pie. You go straight to the wine.
Oh, I'll just have that.
Anyway, that was fun.
I know. Thanks for joining us, Derek.
This was fun. I hope you get invited back.
So, by the way, the podcast, you can listen to us
Fabian.
on Spotify, Apple, Google, anywhere you get your podcast. And we're also on YouTube, too, if you guys want to watch us. So
if you want to see Derek's face finally on the podcast.
Ooh.
You probably won't, so you'll probably see you on.
A real treat.
Yeah.
Bye, guys. See you next time.
Bye, everyone.